Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Good morning, BJK, on a Monday at 6:10.
6 degrees out there this morning, but what is really nice is to see the sun shining. It's so much daylight already this morning. Noticed that at about 5 o'clock this morning, how much light we had.
It is awesome driving back from Minneapolis last night. Didn't get in until about 11 or 11:30. My voice is hanging on. I actually took it easy for as far as my standards go on one of these hockey trips. So I felt my voice going at some point over the weekend, and I said, "Nope, I gotta take it easy a little bit." So it's hanging in there this morning. But back to my story, driving back from Minneapolis, and it was like I feel like it was 9:30 to 10 o'clock-ish, and there was still
light.
Still some light, which was like super nice.
I thought I was running late this morning. Well, I'm always running late, but this morning I thought I was running extra late because I was like, holy, it's like really like bright out there.
Yeah.
Let's cut to the chase. Kirby and I talked about this Friday. What was our good buddy Phil going to bring us back from Minneapolis this weekend? We said, hey, we don't need another T-shirt. Don't need any kind of little ornament. But I did read this story on the weekend, and I thought, you know what? Our buddy Phil, if they didn't drink them all in the hotel, the parents, then maybe he brought at least one can back. Did you hear about the Pabst Blue Ribbon celebration?
I did not, no.
180th birthday this year, and they're selling a 180 pack of beer. They've done these gimmicks before.
Oh,
but it's out on sale right now at the store. And I figured you guys would have walked in the hotel with a 180 pack of beer.
I've heard of this, yeah. Pabst
Can you
Blue
even
Ribbon.
carry that out? Like,
Well, that's what they're
does
selling
it come
them.
with wheels?
That would
like,
be a delivery, I feel like. That's or unless
you would need a
have
cart.
You know what's great, though? Yeah, sure, you need the cart.
Forklift.
But you can tell your partner if they're worried about your drinking on the weekend. They said you had one case all weekend. 180. You
I
wouldn't
just
be
grabbed
lying.
a case, man. I don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't bring you guys anything. I'm sorry. I got
That's all right.
half a
Shocking.
case of Straggler Michelob Gold.
You know what?
Michelob
You
Light
brought us
Gold.
back yourself, and that's all we asked.
You know what? Is that on your Instagram this morning? Because
It
that's
should be.
what I needed this morning. I'm tired, and
We missed
Kirby,
you.
can you say it again?
We're just happy that you're back this morning.
Joe?
That's all she asked.
You're the sunshine in this room.
Okay, that is
Okay.
That is more than enough.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Call the Bone phone. 780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
You know, it's a popular traffic corridor in Winnipeg, in Manitoba right now. South Perimeter construction. It seems to be like people are so happy about it that they get out of their vehicles and sing songs and dance. That's how much people like the South
Is
Perimeter.
that what's happening?
No, not at all. Here's another complaint about it.
Okay, so it's the third day in a row now where on the Perimeter Highway between Pembina and St. Mary's that they've got it down to one lane of traffic both ways on a 4-lane highway. Doesn't somebody put forward a plan to the city and the city gets to advise them, well, maybe that's not such a good idea to be blocking off a 4-lane highway down to 2 lanes? Wouldn't it make sense to, I don't know, make it 2 lanes around temporarily from one side to the other so the traffic could flow? No, we're going to block it off and make it 1 lane each way, probably for the whole summer. Beautiful.
Listen, I'll say what we always tend to say about these situations. Man, is it going to look good when it's done?
Yeah, and you did have a point there that there's so much work going on. Why not throw a little festival around there? Summertime, call it the South Perimeter Festival, the SPF Festival. Could you imagine?
You don't even need to find parking. You can just stop right
Yeah.
there. Get out of your vehicle.
Enjoy the entertainment. Grab a hot dog.
Okay, this call came in Friday morning after the Bomber game, and I think a lot of Bomber fans need to hear it.
What's up, Winnipeg? Sir Rodney here. To all the Bomber fans this morning who are hungover, disappointed, pissed off, here's my advice. Relax. They're going to get better. They're going to shake off some rust. It's going to be a good year. So here's what you do. Sit down, calm down, take a breath, finish your bag of cheesies, put on some new gitches, go to work, enjoy your Friday, and have a great weekend. It's going to get better.
Make sure.
He quoted my girl Taylor Swift. Shake it off. Just shake it off.
Shake it off. Shake it off. Is that how that goes?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he was channeling your mother because he said you got to wear new underwear
New gitch.
the next day. And Mom always said, especially what if you have to go to the doctor's?
You got to have
Should have good underwear
clean
on.
undies.
Is that why you're supposed to have?
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
My mom always told me in case I got in like an accident.
Yeah,
And
and
they
you
had
have to
to-
go to the hospital.
I want dirty
Yeah,
underwear.
do I have
Cut
underwear
off your
on?
clothes. Yeah.
Or at least turn it the other way.
Oh God.
Okay, wood ticks.
The least of your worries after an accident, of course. I think maybe that's why I crapped my pants. I was in an accident.
Don't worry, I turned my underwear the other way. Wood tick stories have been coming in now.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, my son had one on the the back,
Yeah.
like back of his hairline. So anyway, here we go.
Hi, another tick story. Imagine this. My mom and grandmother were pregnant at the same time. Mom was a city girl, Granny, 100% country. On one of our adventures, we and a few friends found an old car in a field and jumped in and pretended to drive. Turns out there was a tick colony, kind of like an anthill. The ticks loved my shoulder-length hair and everyone else's. When we got home, my mom was mortified and ran away. Granny took one look at us, sat us all down, gave us all the bean shave. Remember bean shave?
Oh, yeah.
The boys didn't mind. I was the only girl. You should see my grade 3 school picture. The one in my belly button that was missed was there a few days. They get pretty big. Memory for life. So, Kirby,
Ew. Oh my
I
God.
can relate. Have a great day.
Hang on,
Bye.
I'm checking my belly button right now.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
good.
get all
You know
full
what?
of blood.
Maybe we should shave your head, bean shave, just in case
Is that
so
what
you
that
can be
means?
safe.
Like right down to the
to the bean.
Shave those extensions off.
Phil.
You know what? If one of those construction crews aren't too busy on the south perimeter, maybe we could get them in here to take out the extensions.
You guys.
By the way, sorry, this just came in on the Boston Pizza text line. Speaking of south perimeter, one way each way because they tore up the westbound lanes up to the bridge that's going in, right? So not exactly sure what people would like them to do here. We're getting good play off of the call.
Sure, and people aren't mad at the guys and girls doing the work. There's frustration over wait times and everything else. Is that?
I'm mad at the people doing the
Well, I
work.
think they're more. I think it was more about the planning in that call.
Yes, I agree.
On who called the project to go that way.
You know what? Screw it. Everybody needs Lisa this morning. This, I
Yes.
guarantee you, this will cheer you up.
I don't want to be rude, but I don't look at people that way. I look at people like human beings on the planet Earth. I'm Lisa. Rock and roll. Exactly. I love you the way you are. You got to look at people the way they are. And I have friends in the fire department, everything.
What does that have to do?
Cheers. And by the way, the bar has a hot dog cart.
Only on planet Earth. I don't know about up there in Mars, what they do after the bar night closes down.
She knows a firefighter. Joe,
I want to
like,
know firefighters,
there's-
Lisa.
And there's a hot dog cart that she, man, it's so
It's a
random.
lot to
It's-
unpack.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Heard an interesting theory from a buddy over the weekend as we were sitting around having a few beers and, discussing a Bomber game we didn't see because we were in Minneapolis for a hockey trip and, we were following along with the score, but we did not see the game. So that's why I'm interested to talk to you guys about it because I know you both experienced it. You both, Joe, you were at the game, but the theory of this dude I was with, good guy, he said he thinks that, no panic with the Bombers because, look, last couple seasons, they kick ass all season long from game 1 to game 18. And then they enter the playoffs, they get to the Grey Cup, and they run into this team that comes out of nowhere, like whether it's the Argos or the Alouettes, and they just get hot at the right time. And poof, Bombers lose a game they're favored in the Grey Cup. So why worry? Maybe the Bombers are just like, hey, we know we're going to make the playoffs this year. Let's get hot at the right time and go from there. What do you think?
You want to handle this first, or do you want me to go?
Well, all I'm going to say, Joe, is that just because you start out like they did doesn't mean that we're going to finish like that.
That's what Phil just said, but hey, that's fantastic. Good on you.
Hey,
No, it was good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to just wrap it around,
I would love
put
to
the
know
bow
the
on it.
stats, though, like in terms of like how on those times that we won the Grey Cup, when if we've won that first game.
Well,
It really won't matter.
Yeah, the 1 year.
Okay,
It's not
it
a
matters
stat
to me.
The one, the 1 year we definitely kind of came out of nowhere that 1 year. I don't know about nowhere, but we weren't favored to win the Grey Cup that 1 year.
This is what came out of any group discussion I had. And we talked about this a little bit on Friday, obviously, after the game. But a lot of people were questioning how just even Collaros and Strevy sat the only 2 preseason games. Like, there was a lot of rust with this team. The offense was not in sync at all. But, yes, you don't press the panic button. If you remember, I think it was just last year we got thumped by BC here, right? It was like the 3rd game of the season, and people were a little upset about that. And then, of course, like you said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned. I think we're back home in a couple of Fridays. We're in Ottawa this Thursday. I'll tell you what, a couple of good football games this weekend in the Canadian Football League, too. That BC-Toronto game last night was interesting. I just didn't get when you mentioned to me on Thursday morning that the Bombers were 7.5-point favorites. And I asked you that day, I said, where are the experts? How are they picking that? We haven't even seen our starters really play an exhibition.
Yeah.
So how do you make them 7.5? I took the Argos Montreal to cover 7.5 points on Thursday night. It made sense. I thought we were going to win the game, but our kicking wasn't very good. Our defense played okay.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of new bodies.
Yeah, and got not a lot of new bodies. Didn't play much in the preseason. I'm okay with that theory. When you see that the players did not play in the preseason, that's where I get the vibe that the team is like, no, we'll be ready at the right time. And I'm not saying they're throwing in the towel on these early season games. No. I'm just saying they're not in a rush to hit their stride. They know they'll hit it. It's the CFL. They're the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They got Collaros and they got stars all over the place. They're going to make the playoffs. Right. And I just believe that they're not in a super rush to hit their stride.
I'll throw this out, Curbs. He's one of your favorite people too. Wade Miller. Happy birthday to Wade Miller today. And I will tell you this, it's the 40th anniversary of Buzz and Boomer. They made their debut on this day 40 years ago.
That is also
and
very
they are
cool.
2 awesome characters.
Been beating up Green Drop for 40 years?
That's
Is that what you're telling me?
I'll tell you what, Green Drop, that poor mascot.
That's
never won a match.
Someone says we need to hear from Dr. Football on the Bombers. That would be Vinny. He's already Dr. Hockey. So if
what percentages?
Those percentages.
Well, thank you. I think I feel a little better. Appreciate that, Joe. And Kirby,
Kirby
too.
brought it home.
Too,
All I care about is finding my next outfit for the game.
We know.
Hey,
because I was inspired. I had some inspo from Brady Oliveira's girlfriend.
Oh, great.
Who
okay.
was in the stands, and she had a really hot lace up top that was like a Blue Bomber, and I was like, I'm gonna look up that in the merch store.
Yeah. The only thing Kirby was complaining about, not the team, was the 7:30 start. It's a little late for a Thursday.
I agree.
Yes,
Can we
did.
move it to 3 p.m. kickoff?
So you saw the first quarter then. Good. Thanks. Good
yes,
talking
yeah.
to you.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Are you telling us, Kirby, that you don't like loud music? At the ripe old age of 35, you're telling us off air that the loud music, now that summer's here, is not helping you thrive. It's bothering you. I got to be honest. I'm a little surprised. Out of anybody that I thought would bitch about something like that, it might be Joe or I. I honestly have no problem with the tunes. Reminds me the summer's here. I like seeing people driving around with the thum, thum, thum. I'll crank my tunes, man. And
Me too.
Yeah.
Might have partly because of the hearing, though. Part of it, but I like my music loud, yeah.
I just can't imagine being in a vehicle, okay? Because I live in an apartment, and I'm high up, and if I could hear your music loud and clear from my unit with my windows closed, and you can feel the vibrations, I can't imagine that's healthy for you in the vehicle.
In the ear, like healthy for your ears.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I have nothing wrong with people, blasting the tunes or whatever, but it's that ground shattering, usually Sunday during cruise nights. is when it happens.
You get some thumping.
And
You get the DBs up, like the
Get the
like
sub.
you've seen the videos where you get in a vehicle and somebody's got a sub that's like so intense that your hair flies up.
And you don't like it.
I just think there's an excessive amount of, like there's listening to music, which I think is great. You get the motorcycles out there blasting the tunes and stuff. That's fine.
So some music, so we're kind of...
But it's the loud, like earth-shattering ground, like boom, 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 boom.
So you're going a little back and forth on this. So some of the loud music you're okay with, but yet I don't like some of the other loud music. So
I think it's heavy
the
bass.
thumping. Okay,
It's
so you
the
don't...
heavy
bass.
Okay, that's the kind of music you don't like.
No.
That's the noise pollution stuff for you. Okay. So if I may, like some of these complaints you have, Kirby, and I know
Are you keeping track?
as a woman who will never buy a house, like I get it, like you're never gonna, you don't want to be, you're very proud of where you live, like in that close to downtown area and in St. B, awesome. But you've complained before about the amount of traffic in St. B. You've complained about the snow clearing vehicles in St. B. Beep, beep,
They make the noise,
they
too.
make too much noise. It's a busy area where you live. Now you got like too much music, too much loud music driving by your apartment in St. B. Joe, might it be time for Kirby to move to the suburbs? I'm just...
Suburbs. I think it might be time to get an RTM and then set you up just outside the city on a nice little plot of land. You love the animals.
Acreage.
The wilderness.
I just saw a deer this morning on my way to work. It like literally on my sidewalk.
Why not? Like, listen, you grew up in a small town out there in Drayton Valley, you know? So you're used to small town life where you know everybody. Why? What would be wrong?
I left the small town life behind me, Phil.
Yes.
I was a small town
But
girl
you're sick of
dreaming of the city life.
Would you ever consider it? Like
No.
The noise is driving you crazy. You
The
can't deal
suburbs
with it.
doesn't seem like my vibe either. I don't know. There's too many
Then you're
people
gonna-
that way. Like there's too many neighbors that are close by.
Oh no, too many neighbors. She'd have to talk to people because Lord knows Kirby hates talking to people.
No, I mean I like people in my building.
I will say this. There are certain noises that you hear that just become an annoyance. Like to me, it's the loud mufflers. Sometimes like
the souped up vehicles that are like
muffler. Sometimes you hear them on a bike, sometimes on a vehicle, and those for some reason go right through my ears. Like music, though, no problem.
I'm with you though. The odd loud vehicle that can be a little much. Hey, let us know. Are there sounds that you cannot stand? Like as far as, and you'll hear it more in the summer, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and like I complain about the noise, but then I'll stay at like a cabin or like I'll go back and visit my family in Alberta and they live in the middle of
You've
nowhere.
left them behind. You
And
said
then-
Drayton Valley.
And then you know what I mean? And then it's too quiet. You can't fall asleep. Then I got to put on
Well, you
nature
got a lot
sounds
of
on my
problems.
apps.
I'll tell you
I
right
got
now.
a lot of problems, Phil.
Why would you need an app? I just suggested you move just outside the city on a piece of. Look, right here. Kirby needs a porch and a fly swatter. Perfect.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Hey, it's Philly Joe and Kirby, and this is Extra in our brand new podcast. Hope you're enjoying it so far. So let's lay it out. The way it's going to work, if you're listening right now, which theoretically you are, if you're hearing us, you've already heard half of the show, because that's what it's going to be. The show condensed into 30 minutes every day. And then right in the middle comes some exclusive PJK that you haven't heard yet today.
Like a good sandwich.
That's right.
Something right there in the middle.
I like the sandwich reference. Now, Kirby wanted it to be called Overtime. But
big
because
sports
the
fan.
big sports fan. and
Yeah, that's me.
She liked the sportsy reference, but we went with extra instead.
Well, I'm not gonna be mad about that. I'm extra in general, so
You definitely are.
I'm here to provide extra content any time of the day.
And it'll be something different every day in PJK Extra. Today, we're going to go with what we're watching.
Yeah. You can check out our Facebook page, too, if you want to weigh in, because Kirby posted something about that. So,
You want to go first, Joe? What are you watching right now?
well, because today, actually, interesting that this comes up. It was the Sopranos finale back on this day in 2007. And
Wow.
I've been rewatching. You've done it. You've inspired me to rewatch
good.
the show. So I'm in season 1 right now, just reminding myself how great that show was. So back on The Sopranos with a few things. on the back burner. Did watch the movie Beekeeper last night, finally.
Oh,
Jason Statham.
thoughts?
Well, it's a lot of action. And, there's the Jason Statham dialogue, which I like. Some of the other actors weren't that great, but...
Is there a lot of dialogue, though? Because in those action movies that he does, I don't think there's a lot of talking.
No, but it does give you an explanation on bees.
There are bees in it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Is it
You learn a
about
lot
the
about
dwindling
bees.
population of bees in the world?
No.
And he's trying to save them?
Well, he's actually taking out the murder hornets that affect the hive and what changes the hive. So he takes the bad guy. So it's a lot of foreshadowing.
It was a nature film.
Yeah.
It's not Lorne Green's New Wilderness, okay?
It's on Amazon, by the way.
I'd like it.
You would love it because it is what it is for 90 some odd minutes, right? And just one other TV note that came up today. The Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight has been rescheduled.
To what date?
Because Tyson is out with an ulcer, right?
Yes.
Friday, November 15th on
November
Netflix.
15th. Thank you,
Just
Joe.
a little note.
Good to know. Kirby, what are you watching right now?
Well, I just finished watching over the weekend this documentary called How to Rob a Bank on Netflix. And it's about this guy who jacked $2.3 million from 17 different banks in Seattle back in the early 90s.
In one place, area?
In
Wow.
one area of Seattle. Yeah. And it was pretty crazy the fact that these cops, they just wanted to catch this guy so bad. And they had figured out, using statistics, what bank he would be at probably on these days. So they did a stakeout. This guy would wear a disguise and full out prosthetics.
Whoa.
And he would go into the bank and he would rob them. And fascinating story about
So how
this
long?
guy.
17 banks, one city. How long
I think
before
it
they
was
nailed him?
over the course of 5 years, maybe.
5 years.
That's like the movie Heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of his favorite movies, the bank robber.
Oh my
He was
God.
very inspired by
the movie?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Would have thought it'd be Mrs. Doubtfire with the prosthetics and the outfit.
That was pretty
change.
impressive too. It's they went into makeup and hair,
Yes,
basically,
yes.
as they called it, before they would go rob a bank.
That's commitment. So they caught you. You don't want to give it away. How this all? They
Well,
catch a guy?
he's historic. Everybody,
Okay,
in
so
the
they've
U.S.,
caught
he's very prolific, I
So they
guess. But
caught.
yes, there was
All
a big shootout, and I won't tell you what happens at the end. But it's a very good documentary.
Okay, I'll wrap up what we're watching with a couple things here. So I just finished Shogun on Disney Plus. Neither of you guys would like the show.
No.
It's a remake of an old show. Was
Richard
it
Chamberlain.
in the 80s, right, Joe?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Good-looking people were in that show back in the 80s.
Yeah, I like subtitles, but I loved it. So I'm finished up with that. Now, for me, and I'm not alone with this, there's huge buzz about House of Dragons Season 2, June 16th, HBO Crave. Cannot wait. This is from the Game of Thrones universe, so
Yeah.
another show you guys will not get
That's
into.
coming up soon, though.
Yeah.
But it is getting huge hype through
Yeah.
commercials and that and TV. And I just noticed one, too, for Star Wars fans called, is it The Acolyte or The Acolytes?
Yeah, that's
supposed to be
another
coming
one.
out.
Yeah.
And it's getting a lot of commercial time, too.
Sure is.
Okay.
And then a movie that I want to see. I haven't seen it yet. I may get out this week and go by myself after work. That's Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. I've told you guys. Again, so 3 for 3 on stuff you two will not be into. But this is a movie I have to see, and I have to see it in the theaters.
I'm going to go see Pixar's Inside Out 2 this weekend in theaters. It's a kid's movie, but man, I liked the first one.
The moment I loved from the first one was girl.
In the
girl,
brain, yeah.
With the emotion in the brain, because we've all been.
It was good.
All right, there you go. That's PJK Extra. Enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Pissing some people off with these loud music complaints. Get out of my neighborhood. I'm thriving. Enough of the bass at St. B.
I do think the comment about me needing a porch and a fly swatter is honestly life goals. I could see that. I said to Joe, could you imagine in a moo and a glass of sweet tea sitting on the porch with my fly swatter?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it.
I could see you living outside the city. I really could because, well, you
same.
grew up in a small town, like Philly said.
Yeah.
And you would love the outdoors. And I think well, not too far out of the city. Like all your friends live in the city.
Like
and
how
that.
much like
10 minutes.
yard are we talking
Well,
about?
I'd say
Well, how much yard
like
do you want?
acres?
No.
Okay.
no.
I don't
You're not
want
a
to. I don't want a
farmer.
riding lawnmower.
You're not getting a combine, okay? We're not starting to farm the
I don't
land.
want very many pieces of equipment. Okay.
You would need a riding lawnmower for what Joe and I are talking about. Maybe a bobcat to
A
shovel.
bobcat?
Well, you're going to have to get the
I
snow
think I'll
off.
just rent one.
You'll have a big driveway.
You don't even need that big of a place. Get something with like half an acre and just a regular size house. You live alone. You don't want the biggest house in the world. That's a lot of
I've
cleaning.
always wanted one of those tiny houses, like those little tiny houses
The
that
ones
people
they're
get.
building now, yeah.
Tiny
Yeah.
house on some land.
Yes.
Got the wildlife. Does anybody have a little plot of land for Kirby? She's looking to get out of the city. The loud noises in St. Pete. She can't handle them.
You guys just want me to buy a damn house.
Your other option is moving upstairs from all your incidentals, like your hair and nails. Like, do they have an apartment up top of the building they're in? That would help save
would
you
that
time.
be paradise for you if you lived on?
Just walk downstairs.
If you lived in the same building as where you got all your
And you had a little
services.
porch over the roof, and we'll get you the fly swatter. You just walk down in your
Oh
moo
my
and get your
God.
products done.
With my curlers in my hair.
This visual gets better by the minute. Oh my god!
Oh, but then you'd still be in the city.
I would be in the city. That's the
Yeah.
problem, right? And then we're getting offers for areas like come check out Birds Hill.
Birds Hill's nice.
Yeah, Birds Hill's a beautiful area.
Melissa said Fort Richmond.
Yeah,
Listen,
beautiful.
I came there to pick up your butter tarts around Christmas, Melissa.
Good butter tarts too.
Tremendous.
That area is too residential for me. There's too many.
you can't do it.
Too many houses. It's too
Too
far.
residential, too much non-noise.
You gotta
It's
drive
like
by too
it's
many houses before you find your house.
Too community for Kirby.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Almost 30% of people will catch themselves doing this at some point today.
780 City, 780 2484. Good morning. You got a guess for us?
Talking to themselves.
That is number 3, my friend. Great answer.
That is a good one. I do that all the time.
Thinking out loud.
It doesn't even look weird because people just assume you're on your Apple CarPlay or your Bluetooth in your vehicle. You can just talk away.
Thinking out loud.
No, I'm on the phone, but I'm not really. I'm talking to myself. Good morning.
Okay, how about checking Facebook or social media?
No, I think that
Oh my
number
God,
be
that would
higher.
be like
yeah.
insanely higher.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing though.
Thank you.
We're a society that can't even go like 2 seconds without seeing if we have a notification.
Kirby. Hello, City. Oh,
I forget I have a phone sometimes.
yeah.
That's
For
never happened.
4.2 seconds. Hi, City.
Hi, would it be checking yourself out in the mirror?
No, it's not checking yourself out in the mirror.
Kirby.
Like, it's Monday. Take it easy.
Has there
on
been a
me.
selfie this morning? We'll have to get into that later. Hi,
Well,
City.
I haven't posted it yet.
It's something verbal.
Good morning. Singing a commercial jingle.
Number 2, my friends. Yeah, very good. Singing a song, commercial jingle, yes. Number 2 on this list.
I was singing in the elevator and of my apartment building, and it opened, and there's like, I didn't realize that there's somebody standing right there.
Well, you get an earworm sometimes with jingles, right?
Yeah, you
From a
just wind
commercial.
up singing along.
Excuse me,
Sure.
don't mind me. Just
Hi, City.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can I get Kirby for a line there?
Lifeline.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, one of those.
Almost 30% of people will catch themselves doing this at some point today, Kirby.
Come on, Kirby, hook me up.
swearing out loud.
Ooh,
No.
good guess.
No, that's a great guess.
Oh, sorry.
Great guess.
Thanks for playing this morning. We've got tickets for classic albums performing Fleetwood Mac's Rumors and Superloop GC with the great gas giveaway. Good morning, City.
How about rocking out and doing some air guitar?
No, sir.
Oh,
Is that Party Marty?
No,
Hot dog guy, baby.
Oh, hot dog guy.
Yeah. We haven't heard from Party Marty in a while.
That sounded like that to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, hot dog guy.
It's Party Marty.
Oh, is it?
He's just not as good as you are, but he's pretty good.
I'm not gonna lie.
You offended hot dog guy this
Sorry.
morning.
Way to go, Joe.
Sorry, hot dog
Never
guy.
offended, never.
I
It's
thought
all
it would
good.
take a lot to offend you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm not offended. It's all good.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for calling in this morning. You watch now. Party Marty's going to call in.
I hope
What
so.
the hell, Joe?
It's been a while, though.
Yeah, it has
Is
been.
he alive?
Hi, City.
Hi, is it checking their social media account?
No. This is something that would happen out loud. Like you would actually be verbalizing this.
780 City, good morning.
Good morning. Can I have a lifeline, please?
Yeah, Philly or Kirby.
Billy.
Okay, I'm going to say small talk. Like at the grocery store. Hey, how about that weather? Wow, the Bombers
No.
stunk this past weekend. Like that stuff?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry about that.
That's a good guess. You'd be making a mistake, okay, verbally, by doing this.
Hi, City.
Oh man, I got lost on that last one. Philly, can you hook me up?
Making a mistake.
Yep. Talking to someone, you make a mistake.
Screw up their name?
Phil Aubrey from downtown Minneapolis, making his way back home with the correct answer, calling someone by the wrong name.
Well, he's done that before to somebody we work with.
At the office. What a terrible day that was for me.
So 1/3 of us are going to catch ourselves doing this at some point today.
It's the worst when you do, though.
Well, and I said it with certainty too. Hey, Kev, how you doing? Like I even think I dropped a Kev, not even a Kevin, on poor Jason, and it was like, I still feel bad about
You
it.
just let it happen. That's the best.
Kev, yo, Kevster, what's up?
It's pretty good, Phil. How about you?
My name's Jason. Who's this?
Sean.
Way to go, Sean.
Yeah, well done, man.
Let's go, Philly.
Yeah.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Proper way to kick off the week is maybe win $200 1 hour away from the Big Dumb Wheel.
Cue to text just after 9. You text spin
and your name
to 762-555, and then Kirby fires up the randomizer. It spits out a name to us. We call you. So if you're gonna play, it's a good idea to have that phone handy, be available, because you never know.
And make sure to answer, because we've a few times now called somebody, but who's texted, and they just didn't answer. So
I'll tell you right now, we're pretty lucky to still have a wheel in play. If you saw the spin, the Herculean spin from Kirby on Friday, make sure it just...
Well, I don't think I did. It's a little wobbly,
Hold
but
on.
Why do you gotta complain about the wheel? I never had any
That's it.
wobbly problems with it when I was running it.
This thing almost flew.
You're too nice with it. I was too rough.
This thing almost flew out of here like a UFO.
Okay, well, don't be so rough. Not everybody.
No, it works?
Not
Okay.
everybody likes rough, but
Phil has the special touch.
Yeah, I do. Okay, it's
His
working
tender
fine.
hands.
I'll put some WD-40 in there, just tender hands. They are.
That's what they need, or that's what the wheel needs. Is your tender hands.
They aren't blue collar hands, but I don't know if I'd call them tender.
He's not putting on racing gloves to spin the wheel here.
Tender. No guy. Okay, I don't think any guy wants to be told they have tender hands.
Why not? I feel like that's something you read in a romance
No.
novel. Like, he touched me with his tender hands
Yeah. Listen,
as they ran down my body.
look, all this time you've been wearing your yard gloves.
Trembling.
Yard gloves has finally paid off. It looks like you got tender hands.
I'm gonna tell my wife later, hey, I've been told I have
You
tender.
want these tender hands?
You know what you've been missing out on lately? Those tender hands.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Here we go. Time to play. $200 on the line. Didn't have a winner Friday, Joe?
No. Kirby spun the wheel, and I actually believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Wally picked you.
He did.
And you could
I
not
let
spin your
him
own
down.
name.
Yeah.
Stop. Actually, won over. It went right over your name to Phil. It was that close to a win.
Landed on my name on Friday.
Yeah, but it was kind of weird because the wheel was all over the place. Kirby gave it some kind of like King Kong spin.
Well,
that,
I didn't know it wasn't bolted down. Like, geez.
Well, my tender hands are back. Good morning, Josh.
Hello.
Josh, what do you look for in a guy? Tender hands.
Absolutely.
See?
And if a woman said to you, "Hey, you got tender hands," is that good? Is that something you'd want to be known for?
I'm not going to look at it as a bad thing.
Okay.
No,
That's
you
what
see?
I said. Because honestly, if one of my girlfriends said that, she met somebody that has tender hands, I would be like, well, good for you. I'm glad you're getting taken care of.
All the blue collar guys who listen to the show are like, what? No, don't ever call me that.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, here we go. So you know how this works. You're going to have to pick either Philly, Joe, or Kirby. And then if it lands on our name on the big dumb wheel, or the name you pick, you got $200.
Absolutely awesome.
Who are you going with?
I'm going with the super hard scaper.
Yeah, baby.
The super hard skater.
See, that's a whole. It's amazing how many layers you have to yourself. Super hard scaper, tender hands.
Yeah, that's right.
The
Just
red
an all-around
dragon.
great guy.
Well, this scaper with the tender hands right here is going to spin the wheel. I wish you the best of luck, Josh. You couldn't have picked a better guy on a Monday. He's moving everything out of the way. Here we go.
Let's go.
Okay.
Woohoo!
That's a good spin.
Yeah, see, it's a better spin
Yeah,
already.
it stayed on the table. That's a start.
Come on.
Okay, Joe, Phil, Kirby, Joe, Philly.
It stayed! It stayed!
You
Wow.
got $200.
I'll tell you right now, anybody without tender hands wasn't going to get it to stop right there.
Hell yeah.
You know, that would be a decent boxer's name.
Tender hands.
Philly, tender hands Aubrey.
Who are you going to bet on? Well, the knockout specialist, tender hands.
For more Philly, Joe, and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.